I completely messed up and may have lost my husband, please help me. My 34F and my husband 35M have been married 5 years and together for 9. From the start, I totally felt like I won the husband lottery because he's definitely out of my league. He's handsome, very fit and athletic, he does wrestling, boxing, and jiu-jitsu, and super charming. I see the way women look at him, and I am very aware of how attractive he is. My husband has never given me any reason to think he has been unfaithful. He's a wonderful provider and father to our 2-year-old son. However, about 6 weeks into our marriage, there was a change in his routine that made me suspicious. My husband is an engineer. He doesn't work crazy long hours but does bring work home usually. I work part-time from home, 2 or 3 days a week, and we have a spare bedroom that my husband made into a beautiful office. Usually when my husband comes from work, I am done working by the time he comes home. He usually eats something and then finishes up some work or he goes and works out. However, I do admit kinda pestering him for things while he is working or exercising. If he can reach something for me, move a box, take the trash out. Or our son wants to see him and play or be read to. I admit that it is probably very distracting, but he never has indicated to me that it bothered him. So about 6 weeks ago, my husband started to leave for work very early. He always woke up first, made breakfast and coffee, fed our son. And then he would leave when I would wake up. But lately, he would leave for work about an hour earlier, he would make coffee still but would leave before our son got up. My stupid friends told me he was probably cheating. So they convinced me to sneak into his phone. I looked at his phone while he was in the shower because he doesn't keep it locked, and I found nothing. No texts or phone calls. But I did share the location of his phone with mine. Next morning, he leaves early as usual, and I track his phone. It turns out he was going to a hotel. I am livid. I asked my neighbor to watch our son for me, head to the hotel to try and confront him. When I got to the parking lot, I can kind of see on my phone that he is in the direction of this little restaurant associated with the hotel. It was a little diner, and that's where I found my husband. He was in a booth, by himself with his laptop doing work and having breakfast. My husband spots me and asks what I am doing there. I felt so relieved and told my husband my suspicions and what my friends told me. My husband hates my friends. I saw how disappointed he looked. He didn't say much to me except I can't believe you thought I would do that and that you would trust your dumbass friend over me. He ended up going to work, and I went home and tried to be the best wife ever. I even made dinner for him, which I never do because he is a way better cook. I don't know what to do though. My husband has been very distant the last few days and slept in the guest room for the past 3 nights, which totally broke me. And today I found out, my husband will not come home today, he's staying with a friend. I am totally panicking now. How can I fix this?
What would be a hilarious thing to say to a surgeon before the anesthesia kicks in 5 seconds later? 1. I asked my surgical team if anyone needed anything while I was out. 2. I was about to have a bowel resection and told the surgeon that he only had my permission to take enough to make 1 bratwurst. I also told him that I deliberately let my 6-pack abs atrophy so it'd be a bit easier for him to cut through. 3. I'm a man in his mid-50s with a belly. I told them, if it's a choice between me and the baby, choose me. 4. This isn't the first time I've had a room full of people inside of me. 5. Before my vasectomy I told my doctor, don't go nuts down there. 6. I was given propofol for anesthesia last year, and was joking with the anesthesiologist about Michael Jackson. Just before I went under he started singing Billie Jean to me. 7. I asked my wife after her surgery if she wanted to drive home after the anesthesiologist said we were free to leave. He was with the next patient just 5 feet away and screamed no. 8. The nurse assisting with my vasectomy said, I think I'm going to be sick, and ran out of the room. I looked at my doctor and said that's not the usual reaction I get when I drop my pants. It took him 10 minutes to compose himself. 9. I made the nurse laugh because I said the room and the clock on the wall reminded me of a Saw movie. 10. I asked the nurse prepping me for surgery if he had heard that diarrhea is hereditary as it runs through your genes. He geeked out and asked if he could keep me awake long enough to tell it to the surgeons in the OR, which I did. I remember hearing them laugh as I counted down. 11. I swallowed a lot of gum as a kid, can you check on that for me? 12. Something I actually said to the anesthesiologist as he was putting me to sleep was, Mr. Wonka, it's amazing. Tomato soup, I can feel it running down my throat. Passed out with the whole operating theater laughing hysterically.